technology is a growing industry. Technology is a burgeoning industry. It's like something that there are two industries right now across the world. There is a massive rise of these two industries. One is media and the other is technology. Unprecedented growth is happening, media and entertainment as well as technology. And there are some industries which is technology plus media and industry. So for example, Netflix as a company is doing better than Google. Google, you understand, is one of the biggest successful companies, but Netflix performance in the stock exchange has been better than that of Google. And why? Because Netflix is media plus tech. It's even better than just tech. But coming to the point is that technology being such a thriving, vibrant, massively growing industry across the globe, it is having that kind of growth in India as well. And we have homegrown technology companies now which are exporting softwares, which is selling software abroad, which is expanding globally, companies which are even billion-dollar companies within India and also catering to foreign markets. Okay, now India's technology market and the thing is slowly maturing, and there are so many billion-dollar companies in India now. And there are smaller companies. You don't need to work with only billion-dollar companies. There are smaller companies which are doing extremely well. They all need to hire technology lawyers. They need to hire contract specialists. They need to hire people who can do compliances. They need to hire lawyers across boards, employment, every kind of lawyers they need. And you don't need to learn only technology law for working there. But yes, in technology companies, if you want to work and if you have a good knowledge of technology contracts, data protection law, if you have a good knowledge of, for example, fintech is a major industry where there's a lot of work. Many of the billion-dollar companies are fintech companies. If you have knowledge of cyber law, also IT Act, all of that is very, very valuable. Now, that specialization counts for something because they understand that yes, there are lawyers who have general expertise, but if you have expertise specifically in the tech domain, it is seen as a very good sign for them. So it's highly advisable that those who want to work in the global tech companies and big tech companies, they should totally focus on learning and acquiring skills related to technology law across the board, like different technology law, and there will be new things that are expected to come over a period of time, and those things would over time become more and more important. For example, once India has a data protection law, it is expected that already Indian companies hire lawyers to comply with GDPR because they want to do business in Europe, they want to do business in the US, they want Europeans to come and use our resources and our websites. But or maybe we are just catering to other companies which are doing business in US and we are their vendors. So there is a demand for lawyers in India who know the GDPR, which is European data protection law, but there will be soon an Indian data protection law. There has been a demand for data localization, that there has to be servers in India. For Indian customers, you have to establish your servers in India so that we have data sovereignty. Now, these things are also going to lead to a lot of different work for lawyers because each of these creates complexities and situations that did not exist before. And create, like for example, if we have servers in India, then there has to be laws which govern the maintenance of a server, the even disaster management of servers. There has to be a lot of different laws in place that we don't have today. Other countries do have, and when those things come in place, that will also become like a thriving area of practice for technology lawyers. But even today, what exists is quite enviable in terms of complexity. There was a time when there was just the IT Act, there was just cyber law, and you should say there's cyber law, but now it has already grown manifold in terms of there are lawyers who just do technology contracts day in and day out. They're complex technology contracts. They specialize in even within that. There are like SaaS companies and there are like companies which work more with the government. They have different kind of contracts and different kind of contract negotiation processes. and there are licenses. There are so many licenses that I need to take now, and Indian companies which are doing business across the globe, certain sometimes need their lawyers, Indian lawyers, to advise them on what license to take in other countries and how to go about it. And there are so many specialized technology that is coming up. For example, we have drone. Now drone is a high-tech, considered a high-tech industry. Now how do we regulate drones? What are the drone regulations? If I want to deliver medicines by drone, then what licenses I have to take, what permissions I have to take, what compliances I have to do, what reports I have to do, what whose permission do we need? So there's so much. If I want to import certain kind of drones or export certain kind of drones, then what permissions I need for doing that? There are people who are building military drones, so they need even higher level of clearances and higher level of licensing and stuff like that. So there is, and there are lawyers who are specializing in things like this, drone technology and regulation, right? So there is like increasingly more deep areas of technology that is throwing up new kind of work for specialized work. Biotechnology is a good is a very good example. Cryptocurrency, unfortunately in India, it could have become a very big market, but as of now it's just banned. But even then, if it is banned, there are people who have bought cryptocurrency. So whatever taxation on those, what people have already bought and they are storing, they're holding it other places, will that attract some black money law? Okay, so every technology and whatever has happened throws up some critical questions, and there are people who need solutions around that. There are like companies which are doing fantasy sports. There are esports companies. There are tournaments which are happening online and gaming which is happening online, and they have their own legal needs. They have that's also a media and entertainment aspect, but they need their privacy policies. They need specialized kind of user agreements. They need certain kind of privacy setups. Facebook is spending so much money in India to create awareness about data, how they use the data, how they collect data of people, and how they do not misuse the data, etc. And there are policy makers who are working around that, and many of them are lawyers. They're hiring lawyers to do that policy work, lobbying work around technology. That's also a very much a major area of work increasingly. So I think I have given a snapshot of the kind of work that is coming up in the technology domain with companies and think tanks. So the other major area of work is of course law firms. For a long time technology was part of a bigger team called Technology, Media and Telecom, TMT teams. There are also law firms. There's a TMT law. There's a law firm called TMT law, and this was all big law firms had TMT teams. What happened after that is that technology became a very big law practice area, and media also became a very big practice area. Telecom has not done so well in India in the recent few years. Even right now, Vodafone is threatened that it might go out of business, etc. So all of this has happened, and as a result of that, most of the law firms now have their technology teams which specialize in technology law. There are law firms which entirely specialize in, small boutique law firms which specialize in technology law. And what work do? They work on technology related agreements. They work on import export of technology. They work on technology transfer between companies or countries or entities. They work on of course they work on like investments in technology companies. So there are like a lot of people who are saying that we work exclusively with high tech companies and we specialize in this. And tech companies of course have a need for IP law services also, especially patents and all of that. I'm not going into that, but tech is becoming increasingly a specialized practice area with enough work coming up for tech lawyers themselves. Tech law advisory is a major area of work too. So that's like briefly, I think, overview of the market, what kind of work there is for technology lawyers.